Welcome to another episode of Video Store Rejects. This is a podcast where we discuss directors' filmographies and our favorite film franchises. I'm your host, Cody House, and I have my co-hosts here, Mr. Chris Jacobs and Lindsay Jacobs. Welcome back.
How's it going? Yes, welcome. Thanks for having us on and talking about this really interesting outing for such a director.
So I don't know if people remember, but a couple of years ago, our first March Madness, we had a tie, which was Wes Anderson and Ron Howard. And we went with Wes Anderson because he had a new movie coming out. Well, Ron Howard had a movie that dropped on Amazon sometime last year, which I actually hear is pretty good. I haven't watched it yet. Partly because I know I'm going to get to it eventually. So I'm like, but I hear it's really good. But so we're starting the Ron Howard series, and we're talking his first movie. Many people probably don't know this movie exists. It's called Grand Theft Auto. Nope, we are not branching off into video games, so we're not talking about the famous video game franchise that people love. Nope, this is a movie Ron Howard directed, produced by B-movie master himself, Roger Corman. And this is part of, I guess, a slew of different genres that Roger Corman produced a lot of different types of movies. And I guess here in the 70s, he was doing a lot of these, like, I don't know if this is a racing movie or a car chase movie, but it's very much in vein of like Smokey and the Bandit, but without a budget, right?
Yeah, that's what. Now, from what I understand, Ron Howard had done a movie with Corman called "Eat My Dust."
Yes, that is correct.
They wanted another movie. He was like, "I need a teen movie about two teens on the run. That's basically what I need." And Ron Howard was like, I would love to work with you again. I will do it, but I want to direct." And Corman actually went along with it. He was like, I see something in you. I go for it, kid. And Rance Howard, his dad, he went to his dad. He was like, "Hey, look, I was given this opportunity to direct. Do you want to write a movie with me?" And he was like, "Sure, let's do it." And it became very much a family affair. I may have skewed that a little bit, but
actually, Rance Howard had written the script already and was wanting Burt Reynolds in the lead. And then when Ron got the okay to not just star in it, but also direct, they rewrote the script. Because Roger Corman, because at this time, Ron Howard was more known as an actor, because I think Happy Days is still on the air, I think. So he's a television actor.
I think so.
And of course, everybody knows him as Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. So he was a child actor. He was in American Graffiti. So but he wanted to be a director. So, and something else, I don't know if people know this, but Roger Corman got a lot of big time directors their start. Francis Ford Coppola, James Cameron, Jonathan Demme, and if you notice, another famous director was the editor on this movie.
I missed that part. I missed the editor.
Joe Dante. It was edited by Joe Dante.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Who was another guy that worked for Roger Corman, and a couple of his earlier films were Roger Corman, like Piranha is basically one of Roger Corman's like Jaws ripoffs.
Right. And that is very much a Roger Corman. Because didn't we
So
cover
yeah,
Piranha 2?
we covered Piranha 2, which was
Yeah.
James Cameron's sort of directorial debut.
Right.
And
Very
we
much
all,
with the water.
yeah, that's what we all determined. It was the underwater stuff was probably shot by James Cameron.
It was Piranha 2, the way of water.
He's just always loved the water. But yeah, as you mentioned, Chris, it is very much a family affair because not only does his dad help him write the script, his dad is in the movie, as is his brother Clint, which I guess becomes just a staple of Ron Howard's career as Clint pops up somewhere usually in his movies. But
Yeah, and
Clint's not
I always loved that about the Howards though is
They stick together.
yeah they are very much close knit and stick together, and everything that Ron does, you pretty much gonna have a cameo with either his dad or his brother
Or both.
or both. Yeah, and that's I don't know. I always like that. Keeping your family close.
Yeah. And his wife did the catering on this movie, apparently.
Ah, nice.
So.
Nice. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's very much a. There was only one part that I laughed out loud at, and that was at the very end with the spoiler alert, guys. And I'm skipping ahead
For
because
a movie that was released.
yeah, in 1977. This is as old as A New Hope, people. So
as I doubt anyone that actually watches this will go and watch this movie, but apparently it is on YouTube. So if you got 84 minutes or so, because it's not a very long movie to kill.
It's very fast paced and hectic.
It's very loud.
And loud, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, but the one part, and it's billed as a romantic comedy. I didn't laugh very much at this.
The romance,
and I'm easy. I'm a Three Stooges fan. I will laugh at the first whoop 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 and boink and poke and eye jab. I will laugh at all of that, but I didn't. I found it very hard to laugh at this movie, or to keep my attention. And I was like, okay, this is Ron Howard. It's a first outing. Let's
be gentle with him.
Be gentle. Let's look at all the cameos and stuff like that. But the one part that made me chuckle out loud was the radio DJ, where he loses control at the end and drives through the house, and he starts commentating on
exactly like a radio DJ,
like a DJ would, of himself like driving through
someone's living room and bedroom and swimming pool.
I thought that was hilarious. He goes, I am passing through the living room. Oh my God, that is a couch. Look at that couch.
It's like a beautifully furnished middle class home or something. Yeah, something really.
There is another thing because this movie gets kind of bonkers with how much is going on in this little time of a movie, is that I can't remember, did the spoiled fiance that the family wanted her to marry, did he call into the radio station saying, I'll give anyone $25,000 if they retrieve my fiance?
Yeah. And then, of course, everybody jumps on board, and it
turns into a spectacle.
Yeah, like cross country. Not really cross country, but
right. Aren't they just driving from LA to Vegas?
They are. And another thing that I learned about this is watching some of the interviews with Rance and Clint Howard talking about this movie, is he was so involved in it. I guess he was like, we're gonna and wanting to make this a family affair. They all loaded up. They loaded up in 2 vehicles and drove from LA to Las Vegas and mapped out the back roads, like on location roads and like that they could possibly use, and just made a trip out of it. because they were talking about getting stuck out, like it was summertime, and they had these two little cars. One of them was Clint, like a brand new car that Clint Howard had, and they were talking about getting stuck, like out in the middle of nowhere, and they each got stuck trying to get the other one out, and they're digging in this hot sand, and then finally someone drove over with a Jeep and pulled them out.
It was a family vacation movie that never got filmed.
Yeah, like the vacation.
They made the movie afterwards when they got home.
Oh wow. I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of in agreement. This it's fine. You know, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but like, I'm not gonna say it's a good movie. I will say, you talked about the radio DJ guy. There is one scene I thought that was sort of funny, where there's a point where he gets in a helicopter and he's reporting the chase as it's happening.
Yeah.
And they already have a scene where he's talking on the phone to both of them, and then like Ron Howard rolls down the window and basically tells them "F you," and he's like, he's giving me a friendly gesture.
Yeah, he's like editing it as it's happening too. He is a great easy dude to play that part. Like if anybody's acting really hard in this movie, it's the radio DJ.
He sounded like rocking Ricky Rialto from Gremlins.
Oh, you know what? It might be since
it sounded like the dude from the DJ from Gremlins.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? What is the DJ's name in this?
It was Curly Q.
Curly Q on 10Q, whatever his radio station was.
Let's see here. Yes, it is Rockin' Ricky from Gremlins.
Oh,
that's why he sounded so familiar.
Nice. That's what. Yeah. From the first time I heard him, I was like, "That's Rockin' Ricky. I know it is."
It looks like he worked a lot with Joe Dante, because he was in Gremlins and Rock and Roll High School. I think he's a DJ in that too.
Rock and Roll High School is great.
And looks like Tarantino used his voice uncredited in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. Huh. And he was in Death Race 2000, and he was in Peter Bogdanovich's first film, Targets. But I was going to say, the one character I actually kind of enjoyed was the preacher man who steals the cop car to initially get the $25,000 from...
Yes.
From the mom who wants to give $25,000 to get her son back, and then when he gets the son's like, you'll get 50 if you help me, and then they steal like an ice cream truck and maybe another vehicle.
Yeah, the Happy Clown. Okay, just the fact that like watching this movie, I don't really know what I expected, because we did watch a trailer or part of one or something about it, but like the fact that not just the girl steals the car, but literally like everybody that's introduced as a new character for the first 5 minutes of this film manages to steal a car. The spoiled fiance's rich mom, and the preacher who's just instantly like, oh, you know what will buy a lot of Bibles? $25,000. Bye, guys. Yeah. The Lord will forgive me. Follow no laws of man.
Yeah. Doesn't the mom steal like their housekeeper or whatever he is car?
Somebody yeah.
And then the cops try to arrest her, and the cop basically gets onto a senior citizen bus, which I love that the senior citizen bus driver's like, get away, pig.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm confused about who those senior citizens were that cop kidnapped, because I think they were like a 70s and up swingers club or something. I was just getting really weird hints and vibes from that whole group.
And the sign on the side of that bus.
Yeah, because they're going to Las Vegas.
I had to pause it and go back. I was like, what? I was like, I know my mind's not that.
That's not what that says. There's no way that's what that says.
Anyway.
But yeah, we also get Gary Marshall, who I guess came over because he was a TV producer at the time, went on to make movies himself, but he's one of the producers of Happy Days. Is like, I
Brother
guess,
of Marshall.
of Penny Marshall, yeah. He also produced Laverne and Shirley, and she went on to be a director herself as well. I guess he's some kind of mafia guy that the girl's dad has connections to.
Well, he was like, he may be the new mayor of whatever, and then he's like, I'll give you the guys. Like,
Yeah.
It was a, hey, we ain't got nothing better to do. Maybe he'll pay us, or maybe we'll make him pay us. And they like joined in.
It would be a favor.
Yeah, owe me a favor, exactly. I remember looking at the gangsters' outfits, and I was like, oh, that's a little caricature-y, or that's a little bit over the top. And then I remembered when this movie came out, and I was like, no, that's probably exactly right. Like the lapels that go all the way out to your shoulders, and it looked like a comic book gangster a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Your outfits, it was very busy and crazy.
But I noticed there was around this time period, though, late 70s, early 80s, like even Walt Disney got on the bandwagon in 1980 with what's that movie? What was that movie called? It was basically, it had a really young Michael J. Fox and Peter. Was it Peter? Is it Peter First? Flounder from Animal House? Hearst first. I don't know. Anyway, it was something about a scavenger hunt, and it was really fast paced, lots of car chases, following like 100 people at the same time. All these different groups and characters coming in, and I mean, there were several movies like that just felt kind of the same, like a really rushed, fast-paced, lots of car chases, crashes, zany stuff going on, Smoking, like you mentioned earlier, like a cheap Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Or Cannonball Run.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Which, yeah, those were all kind of... Yeah, I guess that became a subgenre for a while. Like a movie.
The last modern day movie that I can recall that felt anything like that was
Rat Race.
Yeah, Rat Race from the early 2000s.
Oh, what a movie!
Which Rat Race is very much playing on It's a Mad World, right? That's kind of what it's trying to homage, is that movie's energy.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe kind of loosely inspired this type of movie. Like, even though I've never seen that, but I know it's like got an all-star cast and they're like all racing to get something.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah, that had everybody in it.
Green, Rowan Atkinson, Whoopi Goldberg.
Madman World.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were
it even has a cameo from the Three Stooges in it.
Aww.
I mean, they're older, much older in that movie, but the fact that they had a cameo in that, which is awesome, because that was way past the Stooges prime when that came out.
Yeah.
Well, that may have been during the time that Mo was delivering sandwiches on the studio lot.
Aww.
It's a Mad World is almost... I learned something very interesting, sidebar, about the Three Stooges. Apparently, when Shemp decided... I guess this is the time Shemp came back after Curly died. When Shemp decided to retire, there was this black comedian that he's like, this guy should be the next Stooge. And Bo and Larry are like, okay, but then the studio was like, no, not going to happen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, leave it to the studio.
Which was like, wow, that would have been really interesting. But instead they went with the
Stooges.
guy that Curly Joe or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Curly Joe.
Watching the Three Stooges
Curly
at
Joe
bedtime
Reseda.
is a fun little history lesson with our kids. Because they do watch the Three Stooges. But then they're like, what's an ice box? Why do they have to carry those?
Yeah.
I really like the doctor ones where they're running around a hospital and they're like, why are they about to do that? What is that used for?
They resisted at first, but after a couple of episodes, they were like started digging.
They were
them.
successfully
Like,
indoctrinated.
Black and white? Are you kidding? Where's the color?
Yeah.
For the color.
Yeah. But
yeah, I guess this was, a subgenre for a time. And you know what's interesting though is like the crew were all impressed with like how well Ron Howard handled the set, because they're like, well, Corman gives a lot of these young people who want to be directors a job and lets them direct this movie, but they don't really know what they're doing and they don't know how to handle a crew or deal with these things. And everyone's like, oh, this Ron Howard kid knows what he's doing. I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. He's been like on film and television sets since he was a wee little boy. So
yeah, been understudying for the role of big time director his whole life.
I'm pretty sure there were moments growing up and being on the set where he was like, this is the way I should act. And then seeing people throw tantrums at me and say, this is the way you shouldn't act. Plus his dad, again, going back to his dad, seemed
very down-to-earth people, that family.
Yeah. It's again, in an interview, Clint was like, yeah, from an early age, he taught us the difference between celebrity and, like, basically being down to earth.
Yeah.
And, like, really didn't push him. How did he put it? He was like, the kids were not bank...
He was like, it's their money. They'll either do this or they won't.
He was like, the kids weren't paydays for us. Like, we lived off of what I made, and I made them like put their money in the bank, So it seemed like they were celebrity kids without being celebrity kids, if that makes sense. Like they all seem like decent.
A rare example of good like showbiz parents or stage parents.
Yeah.
Because those are the exception and not the rule for how that usually plays out.
Yeah. Just look at the Macaulay Culkin's dad, or
Will Wheaton.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton's parents, and not so much Haley Joel Osment, even though his dad was an acting coach. So I don't think he had any kind of like abusive things going on, but I'm pretty sure like he became an actor because his parents didn't make it as actors.
Right.
So it's like, oh, my kid's got talent, and maybe I should have him act.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that's good to know, because he
in that perspective, I'm like, this is a movie that might be worth at least watching once.
Yeah,
it's a movie everybody had fun making for the most part, which is so nice to hear.
It's not that great, but just seeing it, I'll tell you what, knowing and watching those interviews and knowing more behind it
makes it more enjoyable.
Made the experience more pleasant. Because again, it's an older movie. I did find it hard to keep my attention towards the movie at times. But again,
what was this movie rated?
Oh, that's a good question. Because
I've definitely heard some very adult language, and I was like, Ronald Howard, you can't talk like that in your movie.
It was rated PG.
Really?
I heard the F word in there once or twice.
Yeah.
A chicken F
word. It's 1977, though, so there wasn't the PG-13 rating, and I guess it...
And I'm pretty sure this was like him and his dad was like, okay, we're gonna break that Opie image a little bit, and that Cunningham image, from
They
Happy Days.
don't really though, because
They don't, but they make him
I
a little
don't
racy a little
I
bit.
don't think he's pursued as a bad boy. He's just poor, right? He's just like a poor guy. So
Yeah.
The crime is being
But, like,
working class. How dare you?
Wanting to pull the car over and fool around, and I don't know, it just seemed very anti-Opie and Cunningham, even though it's very tame. I could see where they were like, let's push that a little bit. Let's, you don't want to be known as
little redhead
little
with
Opie.
freckles for your whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know this. The actress playing the female lead was John Ritter's wife.
Ah, okay.
Well, at least till 1996. I guess they got divorced.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. She's gorgeous though. She's very pretty. And she didn't come off like, how rich girls who are doing things to make their rich daddies very mad in movies come off? She seemed like a very down-to-earth person.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll say this. I've seen some doozies of schlocky films, and even though this isn't the greatest, it's not that bad for being a first outing because of the help he had and the direction he had. So it could have been a lot worse considering what he's done up to date, and he's given us some really memorable movies. And one of my favorites, Willow, and Backdraft, and Far and Away, and Splash, and Apollo 13, and so on. And we'll get into all those. But for being his first film and being a family affair type of thing, wasn't bad. It did have some cool car stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Even get a crash up derby near the end of the movie. You got a few fun. Yeah. And then the police arrest all of these people at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That's a nice bow around it. They're like, well, all the bad people are gone now. We don't have to worry about them anymore.
Then they get married and have a honeymoon in Vegas. I mean, what's...
Yeah. And
the Demolition Derby fans were like ready to throw down against everybody, just like on site. They were like, oh no, no way.
And even the dad came around and was like, oh, well, I guess this guy is the better dude because he's not a schmuck.
Yeah, total D-bag. But yeah.
But yeah, there's some funny bits, Clint Howard and that other dude, they steal a car from a groom and bride who are about to consummate their marriage, and
yeah. They even roll out of the back, and the bride goes, you couldn't wait until we got to a hotel. And I'm like, yeah, I mean...
Well, it's supposed to be silly,
To the point of ended up stranded in the desert in your Sunday best.
But even though this movie takes place in California and Nevada, it also states that, sometimes rednecks don't know what they're doing. And that those guys that try to dynamite the bridge or whatever.
Oh, holy shit, yeah.
See, it's funnier talking about it than it was watching it. But now that I'm remembering what I did watch, it has its moments.
Hey, for a first-time movie, for them basically redoing something they sort of already did, it serves its purpose. Like I said, I can't recommend it, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, and it's okay for a first-time movie. Apparently, it made its money back because it only cost $600,000 to make, and it grossed $15 million.
Oh my gosh!
Whoa!
What was Clint Howard saying? He's like, I was only going to get a couple $1,000 at the end of this for filming it, and then they got my brand new car stuck out in the desert right off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
And it made $15 million?
You know what? It probably played at a lot of, like, because this is of the Grindhouse, it probably played at, like, drive-ins across the country for a couple of years as a double feature with something.
And I guarantee you they played off of
Smokey and the Bandit's success too.
Yeah.
They played it off as they played off of Ron Howard's fame at the time.
Yeah, that too, because he's in one of the most popular television shows.
They were like, "Come look what this kid did," and then people get there and like, "Oh shit, I got duped." But
I could have watched something else. The same movie.
But they already made their 75-cent, $1.50, whatever it was at the time for the ticket.
Mm-hmm. I mean, looking at the highest grossing films of 1977, it's Star Wars, Close Encounters, Saturday Night Fever, but guess what was the number 4th one? Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Which came out the same weekend as Star Wars.
Oh.
Good job, Smokey.
Well, we all know what the rednecks went to see that weekend because we know it wasn't Star Wars.
Hey, don't discount.
I wonder if Smokey got a bigger wide release than Star Wars did at the time.
I'm pretty sure they did. People were hesitant with Star Wars, so.
Because I feel like Star Wars got like a soft opening, and then when they were seeing like people lining, around the corner, it like opened. Because I guess this is still an era where movies didn't like open wide, like across 3,000-4,000 screens.
Right.
Like the new movie didn't come to every theater. Like a Star Wars movie does now. But yeah, that's crazy.
Well,
but Ron and Clint both have hair in this movie.
Yeah.
But Clint's only like 18, I think, in this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wasn't his first? I thought Clint's first movie, or his first big movie alone without his parents, is what I heard him say in an interview, was Rock and Roll High School. And I can't remember how old he was at the time, but I just remember him saying, he was like, "Yeah, that was my first big movie where I drove myself to the set. I didn't have to have a parent with me."
That is that's 2 years later. He's 20. So.
Wow. Okay. So maybe.
I just know it's rough for those of us who were born looking like a couple decades older than we were. I feel it for Clint.
Well, those Howard boys may be nice, but they did not stay cute.
Yeah.
I told Lindsay, I said it.
It's rough. It's just rough looking way older, immediately.
Clint got his mom's looks.
Mean, you have never seen their mother.
I haven't. You
don't even know what she looks like.
She's never in any interviews that I've watched, and I'm not sure if she passed early on or if they split.
She passed around the time The Grinch came out because Ron Howard dedicated the film to his mother because she loved Christmas.
Okay.
Oh, that's the live action Grinch Christmas. That's the best one.
Yeah.
And his dad lived another 17 years after that.
Yeah, he was in a lot.
Actually, he remarried.
Oh, okay.
Whoa, okay. Wow. I see your rants.
In his 70s, okay.
Huh.
I mean,
good for him.
Yeah.
No judgment, I guess. Oh, well, I mean, I guess, well, okay. Wow, the second wife died around the same time,
Jeebus.
and she
You
was
tell me
quite
they
a.
were close in age. I will faint from the
They
shock.
weren't. She was like 12 years younger than him.
And in Hollywood, that's considered not an age gap of 12 years.
No, that's true. That's actually a pat on the back. Oh, that's not creepy yet.
Good job, Rance.
Yeah.
You're not old enough to be her dad.
Yeah, and it does get less creepy the older the people involved are, because they still had all that life experience.
Yeah.
That's true. We were watching some older movie. I think it was Charade. And of course, Cary Grant's still playing the romantic lead, even though he's like, if he's not 60, he's pushing 60. And it's Audrey Hepburn. And Jessica's like, how old is she there? I was like, she's in her 30s. She's like, oh, well, at least she's in her 30s.
Yeah, that means at least she's had a chance to be able to recognize what a predatory older man looks like, so she keeps herself safe. By 30, you hope.
Well, there was a Sean Connery movie. It was Sean Connery and
Pickers. Yes,
she's my point.
Yeah.
Entrapment, which I think she was about 30 at the time that film came out, and he was 69.
I do remember that. Oh my god. I do remember.
I mean, she is married to a man that's actually a year older than her father.
Yeah.
Ew.
So she may have a type.
Or serious issues.
Or serious daddy issues. But I don't think I have much more to say about this movie.
Me either. Like,
I was gunning for it because Ron Howard was like, he can do it. His first movie, come on. But yeah, I probably wouldn't tell anybody that they had to watch it. Or
if it's ready, let's do pork. I mean, it is what it is. Roger Corman gave him a shot, and he made Roger Corman some money, which is what Roger Corman did. He makes really cheap movies and probably played them a bajillion times at drive-ins and grindhouse theaters, and some of them get cult followings and some of them get forgotten in the sands of time, and this one's probably
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, which some people would argue is still the best adaptation of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, it's horrible. I remember we rented the movie Matinee, and there was a trailer for that on Matinee. And I remember going to the video store. Every time I would go after that, I'd be like, hey, Fantastic Four, I saw the trailer. Do you know when it's coming out? And they'd be like, no. And I remember asking like every single time for 6 months, and I just gave up after that. And I'm
surprised they didn't quit and get new jobs after that.
Well,
it's like that one kid is going to come
yeah,
in.
he's going to come. There it is.
I don't know.
But I knew in my mind, and for years after that, every time I would bring it up, people would act like I was crazy. And I was like, I swear to you, I saw this movie trailer. I know I did. Sure enough, years later, I hear there's a pirated copy floating around out there that you could pick up on VHS at conventions back in the day. Finally got my hands on a copy. It's worth the watch. It is so worth the watch. It is so bad and cheesy, but
you can watch it on its entirety on YouTube, which I think they dropped around the time the last version tried to get made.
Wow. I didn't know it was
yeah, because that's like, they didn't release it, right? It didn't ever get released.
No, it didn't. They shelved it. And the rumor is that they just made it for tax reasons.
But they were never going
to... Yeah, right, to keep the rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why so many movies got made, is they wanted to hold on to the rights of the property.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we'll see what Marvel does with it. Hopefully, they'll do good things. I hear the 94 version, all the money was spent on Doctor Doom and the Thing.
Oh, yeah. And they tried to do it was a really bad CGI Human Torch. It was rough. It was pretty rough. But A for effort, I think it would have made a fun kids show back in the day. Like with the quality, like they could have totally have turned it into made a series, and I probably would have ate it up still because it's hokey and it has kids show vibes written all over it.
Well, at that time period, if you were a comic fan, you were probably just like, oh, content.
Yeah, I remember I was just wanting to eat up that anything.
And now we're in it.
Yeah.
Every day.
Because live action was rare back then. It was all cartoons. And I was like, I want something physical. Like, I want to watch something, live action. Man, when I saw that trailer, that's all I could think about. I was like, oh man, the Thing looks so cool. And because you only got like one or two glimpses of them. And I was like, oh man, they show like
that's all you saw.
Yeah, basically they stuck all the good shots of the movie in the trailer, and that was it. And then, they had this epic music, and I was like, oh my god, Fantastic Four! Told everybody about it, and then it doesn't come out, and I look like the crazy one.
At least it's not like effect.
Yeah, Shazam. I know I saw a Shazam trailer with Sinbad.
That's a whole other episode. Movies we swear we've watched, or TV shows we swear we watched.
Yep.
That we can find no trace of on the internet.
So you're telling me there was a different Genie movie and it was with Sinbad instead of Shaq?
Yes.
I know there was.
It existed on VHS at somebody's house that I stayed at.
I know I saw a trailer. It's a conspiracy. I bet you that's a movie they made and
just
then
like
shelved.
the Berenstein Bears,
Yeah.
And it's real, you guys. That's a different podcast. Ron Howard. What else is Ron Howard doing that we're going to talk about soon?
So many things, but for this month, at the end of the month, we're going to be talking Night Shift, which I guess is his proper film debut, and also it stars his buddy Henry Winkler and Shelley Long as the lead. Henry Winkler, of course, was the Fonz, and I don't know if this is pre or right about the time Cheers comes out, but there's a different actor who was his film debut that kind of steals the show, and I've never seen it, but yep, it's Michael Keaton's film debut, and apparently he steals the movie from Henry Winkler and Shelley Long.
Yes, we watched it in 2020. Remember?
We did watch it. I do remember this movie because I love Michael Keaton.
And I want to go back and revisit it. So, if you're able to do these Friday, Saturday nights or evenings, or any day during the day, Sunday, we're on board. I can make it.
Okay, well, I do have a guest for that one, so we'll see when they want to do it.
Yeah, it's work around guests, sure. But if y'all end up doing one of these during that time frame, then we're down. So just sign us up. Because I'm always down for Ron Howard movies.
Which there's actually quite a few of these I've never seen before, so there's a lot of his films I haven't seen. Like, I haven't seen Far and Away. I haven't seen Gung Ho, another Michael Keaton. I haven't seen Cocoon, which is apparently hard to find.
And give it me after the show.
Chris has Cocoon.
Let's see what else. I haven't seen Parenthood, which
Parenthood is a great movie.
So good.
I haven't seen his 2 streaming movies, which the Netflix one I hear is pretty rough, but I heard the Amazon one's pretty good.
Didn't know he had 2 streaming movies.
He's got Hillbilly LG on Netflix, which Glenn Close plays Meemaw or something, and then 13 Lives on it. Yeah,
Hillbilly Eulogy, and I hear it's
Eulogy.
based off of this kid that grew up in poverty. I hear that one's
Yeah,
pretty. I hear that's a rough
So
one
it's
to
super
watch.
depressing.
Yeah.
it's not spelt eulogy, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
And 13 Lives, which I hear is actually good, which is based on a true story as well about these guys that go and rescue, I think, a Boy Scout group that's trapped in a mine or a cave or something. Like they dive in.
I could quit hanging out in caves.
It was a soccer team, I thought, and they
Soccer team.
They went exploring this cave. Yeah, it happened like
that was recent because Elon Musk tried to get involved and like put that up. Excuse me.
Of course he did.
Yeah, they were like, "You're stupid."
He tried to big brain time in the middle of everything, and they were like, "Please sit down and stop talking. You're making it worse."
Yeah.
And I haven't seen this movie that's now over 10 years old with Vince Vaughn and Kevin James called The Dilemma. But apparently that was the first movie people were like, oh, this Channing Tatum guy, actually, he's actually talented. He's not just a big dumb dude that can dance.
I haven't seen that either.
Which, I mean, dancing is a talent. I don't know why they want to knock dancing.
Everybody to be a triple threat, that's why.
So the next one...
Well, I don't think he can sing, but, you know, maybe.
Oh, he can't?
I don't know. I've never heard him sing.
Doesn't he sing in Hail Caesar?
Oh, he does, doesn't he? Yeah. Well, there you go. He is a triple threat.
Get him. Good job, Channing.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll rewatch Night Shift, and if we're able to make
I'm gonna make us watch Gung Ho because it has Michael Keaton in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either, and I heard that one's really funny.
It's not a cowboy movie.
No, it's an auto worker. He works at an auto plant, and
so it's Mr. Mom, the prequel.
It's kind of like, it could be.
Plant
and Mr.
Yeah.
An auto plant.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of kind of considered sort of semi-racist now.
Oh no.
So when a Western Pennsylvania auto plant is acquired by a Japanese company, brokering auto worker Michael Keaton faces the tricky challenge of meditating the assimilation of two clashing corporate cultures. At one end is the Japanese plant manager and the psychopath who is angling for his position. At the other, a number of disgruntled longtime union members, George Wendt and John Turturro, struggle with the new something of Japanese quality control.
And being
like
an 80s movie, being an 80s movie, I can definitely already tell from the description that there's going to be, I can hear it, that there's going to be some tropes and whatnot.
Well, then maybe we'll just watch Night Shift and have a nice little morbid
we'll watch. I mean, hey, there's some things in Night Shift too, but
I'm sure.
I mean, there are things in those movies that have not aged well, and then there are funny parts as well. So
it may be a prequel, but it came out after Mr. Mom. Mr. Mom was 1983.
Okay. That's a cute movie.
Mom.
Yeah.
Which is the movie everybody freaked out when there was no internet when he got cast as Batman.
Yeah.
Stupid people.
Right. Well, yeah, we'll try to be ready for as much as these because I love a lot of his movies.
He makes good dad movies, Christopher.
Yeah, that is true. He makes good dad movies.
He is a dad, and that's true. He does make good dad movies. Yeah.
I really want to be there for the Apollo 13. Like, I would really like to be on that one.
Yeah, I still think that's probably his best movie.
Yeah, that film is
pretty good.
Excellent.
There's something super wholesome about Ron Howard, and that's why I joke that he makes dad movies. And doesn't that movie have Tom Hanks in it? That's extra dad power. You can't resist loving it.
I am warning you guys, when we get to the Robert Langdon movies, I'm just going to do all 3 of them at once because I cannot bear to do 3 different episodes on those things.
Oh,
fair enough.
That's fine. And we might just do, if we make those, we might just do a review because we've watched them all ourselves.
Which ones are these?
They're the Gods and Monsters, Da
Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno.
Did you see those in the movie theater?
Yeah.
And I wasn't allowed to go places, so it was a big deal, and I thought that was a really clever movie at the time.
But
I haven't read the book. I haven't been able to make myself do that.
They're not I don't know. The first one's decent.
Is Tom Hanks the only redeeming quality about?
No, Tom Hanks is not even that good in the lead. It's it should have been a different actor. Honestly.
A younger actor, maybe?
Yeah, a very younger actor should have played Robert Langdon.
Fair enough.
Especially when you're having him play opposite these ingenues. It's come on.
Right.
Tom Hanks is not that guy.
And
not that they're romantic love interests. It's just, I don't know. It just
feels icky. It's okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Which, I mean, they're very much playing in the new Indiana Jones movie that Phoebe Waller-Bridge is his goddaughter or something. So. But anyways, that's all we got. We stretched this to almost an hour on this movie.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Ron Howard. We did it for you.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know if this is the movie's worth, I don't think we talked about it for that long. But if you're a completionist, check it out. If not, you're not really missing anything, but it's not the worst movie when you go and read a description about it. It's not as bad as you would think watching it.
Things you could watch better things.
Yeah, if you're in the mood for a B movie,
what's the Ron Howard grading scale? Do we have one?
I did not create a grading scale for Ron Howard or Jim Henson and Frank Oz. So
I'm gonna say to Ron Howard, good job, sport.
Yeah,
that's my rating.
That a boy.
There you go.
Yeah, he gets an attaboy. That's an attaboy outing right there.
Because he's still young looking in this. That he looks like a little boy, sort of. Yeah.
I think he just kept looking like a little boy until it was undeniable that he was a very old man.
He just went from little boy to old man.
Yeah.
Not a lot of transition in there.
Yeah. Well, all right. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I guess I'll see you guys soon if we figure out what we want to do in replacement for Nick's absence this week.
You said you did want to do a birthday movie?
I've got a list of birthday movies, and I'll run them by you guys in the admin chat because I don't know what people want to watch, and I don't want anybody to spend my birthday movie being like, man, you know what I could be doing right now? Not watching this. So I'm kind of...
But it is your birthday, so you can do that.
That's true, but I'm not going to do that because I made
You're
the mistake
too nice.
years ago. No. I made the mistake many years ago. I tried it 2 different times to make a boy that I liked watch Mamma Mia, and it didn't play in my favor. It wasn't a fairy tale like I thought, so I'm really trying to be considerate.
Me, by the way.
No, you were one of them. You didn't watch it either.
Oh.
And then the other time, the theater caught on fire, so we had to leave.
Well, do you want to do Mamma Mia?
No, I don't. I have a list, and I'll send it.
I will watch it. So.
Do you love ABBA enough to watch it? Because that's really what's going to get you through this movie. ABBA and Meryl Streep.
No, I don't love ABBA, but I do love Meryl Streep. But I already know I'm not going to like it. But I would watch it if you wanted to watch it for your birthday.
Hey, you know what? The guy who plays the first Tony Stark's dad in the MCU is in it.
Oh yeah, I know how well Pierce Brosnan can sing, and
yeah, but he's not the whole movie.
Well, we're gonna watch.
But to be fair, to play a devil's advocate, how many things has Chris made you watch that you knew you weren't going to like and then ended up not liking?
All of them. All of them. No, not all of them. But Christopher picks all the media that we watch because I just can't be bothered to pick up the remote. I'll just watch whatever someone.
Oh. Every time I ask you,
It's
you're like,
either-
well, it doesn't matter.
It
Like,
doesn't.
okay.
It doesn't. I am very a passive audience member, except for when we talk shit about movies on this podcast.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm fine,
please
but I
pick
have a very
something you
small
enjoy.
list.
Yeah.
That's how it works, you guys.
No, we'll watch whatever. I promise you.
I have a very short list I'll share with admins, and you guys can tell me what you haven't seen or are interested in seeing, and then I'll go from there. I didn't make it big on purpose,
Okay.
mostly because I can't remember all I like.
I'm
All
very
right,
excited
well-
about your birthday.
I'm gonna cut it and have dinner, and you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And I look forward to your
All right.
list.
I'll be
Bye.
working on it.
All right. Later.